Mhm. Because then I'll be able to distinguish two recordings also that way. Okay, let's start the 16th chapter. Should we start the 16th chapter? What do you all suggest? Hare Krishna, is everybody awake or is everybody sleeping?
Awake, Mataji.
Okay, because there's no response. And why everybody's videos are switched off? Most of your videos are switched off except one or two who are really very sincere. Their videos are absolutely on. Please, my humble request is that everybody's videos have to be on whenever this class is going on. Because let's be...
Hare Krishna Mataji, I'm just driving to school to drop my daughter. So I am switched off today my phone.
Okay. Others, please switch on your videos. Shubhangi Mataji, Nivedita Mataji, Mahendra Prabhu, Lakshmi Narayan Prabhu. Okay. Let's start with the 16th chapter. Because the 16th chapter that is there, it's a little important one also. The 16th chapter is one very important chapter that we know that what qualities do we possess. So see, this chapter is titled Divine and Demonic Natures. And in Sanskrit, this chapter is named as Deva Asura Sampada Vibhaj Yoga, the divine and demonic natures. So if you see the word Sampad, when I'm saying, it is related to the word Sampatti or wealth. And Sampad means only this is what they have considered to be the wealth. And the demonic consider demonic qualities to be their wealth. Like the demonic have arrogance, they have harshness, they think that yehi hamari poonji hai. To be more arrogant, to be more harsh with people. And these qualities become ingrained into them. मतलब बिल्कुल उनके खून में या consciousness में घुस जाते हैं. And it becomes a part of their nature. So if we consider our wealth, we will hold close to us. And eventually that will become a part of us. So, uh, this is like, in the 14th and the 15th chapter where Krishna speaks without any prompting from Arjuna. Krishna explained how Gyan will lead to bhakti based on the question asked by Arjuna in the 13th chapter. Krishna is taking that theme. And then in the 14th chapter also, Arjuna is asking three questions in that one verse, that what are the characteristics of those people who are transcendental to the modes, or what is the behavior of such a person, what are the processes to transcend after that. So what is the process to transcend? That question actually he is not asking. He does not ask those questions. So and then the 15th chapter, says there is a tree upside down, and but the tree has fruits, but those fruits were not described in the 15th chapter. And we discussed even the 13th chapter that, okay, Bija is that Purusha Prakriti Ashohi, that divinity is situated in the material nature, and it makes then him to, what is that? Bhungte Prakriti Jan Gunaha. He has the desire to enjoy that material world. And in this tree, we discussed that what waters that particular tree? The modes of material nature are watering that tree. So the tree was completely, very clearly mentioned in the 15th chapter, right? But the mentality which causes the tree to sprout is the bhungate. Bhungte means desire to enjoy. And how it is nourished? It is nourished by the three modes of material nature, which is described in the 14th chapter.
Logo, logo,
So,
ini
Hare
channel.
Hare Krishna, who is that? Okay. So, this 15th chapter described that this tree is upside down and one can become disentangled from it only by taking shelter of the Purushottama or the Supreme Person. And this 16th chapter is describing the upper and lower extremes of this particular tree. So the root of the tree is near the Brahmaloka, which either means the spiritual world or the abode of Brahmaji, which is also called as Satyalok. So here we are referring as Satyalok, the abode of Brahma, which is in this material world itself. And that is the upper extreme. And now, somewhat below that is the heaven and the earthly planets and the hellish
Yeah.
planets as such. So, we have to go upward and go from that reflection of that tree to the reality of that particular tree. So, when this chapter is speaking about, first it is speaking about the divine and the demonic qualities, then he's speaking specifically in the first three slokas is speaking about the divine qualities. Okay, and then the next he's speaking about the demonic qualities, right? So whatever qualities we have, that is reflected in the activities that we do. Like कौन से activity, whatever quality I have, whether I have a demonic quality or whether I have a divine, so whatever activities or actions I am doing, it will be reflected in that. And then the consequences and the causes of those demonic activities. What is the result? And uh, what makes people do these, demonic qualities? And then the choice is laid down to us, yet whether we want demonic qualities or we want divine qualities. So we want to act in a divine way or we want to act in a demonic way, that completely depends on us. And that is why Srila Prabhupada, what he has done is, he has grouped the first three verses to give a summary of the divine qualities. And Krishna also at the end of the third verse, he summarizes all these qualities. So let's see these qualities. So the first three are divine qualities or Daiva. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Abhayam Sattva Samsiddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavasthita Danam Damascha Yagnascha Swadhyayascha Tapam Arjavam Ahimsa Sattva Akrodhas Tyaga Shantir अपैशुनम दया भूतेष्व अललोक्त्वम माधुवम हरिर अचपलम तेजक्षमा धृति शौचम अद्रोह नाति मानिता भवन्ति संपदम दैवीम अभिजातस्य भारत. So he's saying the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, abhayam, sattva samshuddhir, purification of one's existence. And then he's saying jnana yoga vyavastitah, cultivation of spiritual knowledge. Danam, he's saying charity. And then he's saying damascha, self-control. Yagnascha, sacrifice, he says. And then he's saying that study of the Vedas, swadhyay, right? Tapa, austerity. Arjavam, simplicity. Ahimsa, non-violence. Satyam, truthfulness. Akrodhas, freedom from anger. Tyagaha, renunciation. Shantir, shanti means tranquility. If somebody is very shanti, he's like tranquil, right, as such. He's not agitated. He's very peaceful. He's very equipoised, right? And then he's saying that apaishunam, aversion to fault finding unnecessarily. See, this aversion to fault finding, he does not find only faults in anybody. He says good only. Like Krishna also does not do any fault finding with us. He is trying to see even the smallest good quality in us, and then he's fanning the spark that way. Right? Then he's saying Daya Bhuteshu, compassion to all living entities. And then he's saying Alaluptvam, he's saying freedom from covetousness. Mardhavam, he's very gentle. Harir, modesty. Achapalam, steady determination. Chapal यानी क्या कि वो बहुत ही flickering है. But when he's saying achapalam means steady determination, not agitated even in failures. And then he's saying that Tejaha means vigor. Vigor means, see, Kshatriyas have vigor, right? They protect the needy people in that way. Then he's saying Kshama, forgiveness. Sometimes some people can never forgive even for years and years together, right? So forgiveness, छोटे minor offenses को भी you just forget or forgive. Dhrita, fortitude. See, fortitude means what? Over here is like his emotional strength and mental strength is balanced. मतलब नहीं कि वो in Hindi said उसका सटक नहीं जाता है कभी भी. Like, some people, 5 minutes before they are like, talking to you so sweetly and so nicely as if he's going to give his prana to you. But all of a sudden, after 5 minutes, he'll behave in such a way as if he's going to take away your prana. So mental balance नहीं होता है ऐसे लोगों का that way. Saucham, cleanliness. Saucham means we know always. When Prabhupada says or Krishna says, cleanliness means internal cleanliness and external cleanliness, both way. Internal cleanliness means cleanliness of the mind, to clean the mind of all the residues that are there, right? Adroko, sorry, adroho. Adroho means freedom from envy. He does not envy. He's not, resentful that way. And Nati Manita. So, from passion for honor. Means what? He's respecting others. He's not expecting any respect, but he always respects even a dog and a hog and a human being or a lower person or a higher person, or he does not see any externals. And these transcendental qualities belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Devim Sampadam. So all these qualities, if you see, every quality that is there is very, unique quality that is there. And these are the characteristics. When he's saying that bhavanti, all this is sampadam. Sampadam means, over here, if you see the translation, these are the transcendental nature. These qualities are of transcendental by nature. And abhijatasya bharatah. Those who have godly, qualities or disposition of the divine nature, they have these qualities from birth itself. जन्म से ही इनके पास ये अच्छे गुण होते हैं. So our nature is also shaped by the nurture and the culture. कि in which family am I born into? And in the next also lifetime, which family am I born into? So our behavior is shaped by these things, nature, nurture, and culture. So nature means how we are born with. And all of us, we have certain tendencies, certain psychophysical characteristics. We have our likes, we have our dislikes that are innate to us. And innate not to the level of the soul, but at the level of the body and mind. And that we have based on our previous karmas also. So this is about our nature. And then nurture means how we are grown with those values, right? And culture means what environment or what is my association in which I'm living or when I'm growing. And then beyond that is, my free will. So all these shape our behavior, but they don't absolutely determine our behavior. We can still use our free will and choose to act differently. It's not like that right from childhood till, this age, I've been, behaving in the same manner. No, natures do change definitely. So this divine nature will lead to liberation. And the demonic nature will lead to bondage. So we should choose to act in a divine nature. And that is why he's saying that abhayam sattva samsiddhir. Abhayam means that fearlessness, right? And when I'm saying abhayam, it doesn't come by, absence of fear, but by the presence of a cause which will, drop my fear, right? So, abhayam does not mean कि अच्छा मुझे भय नहीं है, नहीं, but abhayam means I have a particular cause. कि okay, I want to reach the spiritual world. I want to reach the spiritual world and serve over there. So now I have a cause, right? And I have a mission. So, when I have that cause and that cause is present in my life, then that fear will take a backstage. Now I will not have insecurities or fears. All those things will not be there. So this is what actually abhayam is meaning. So don't tell Krishna, what is it saying? Don't tell Krishna how big your problems are. Tell your problem how big Krishna is, and then that problem will become very small, or it will become very small like a drop. Chota ho jayega. So these qualities are as per different varnas and ashramas. All godly people, they have these qualities in general. But certain qualities are important for certain varnas also. कुछ varna के लिए कुछ qualities are there. So when I'm saying abhayam quality, that is generally cultivated by sannyasis. Sannyasis don't have any fear. And we think about, security by having people around us. But a sannyasi has to leave everything and travel alone. Right? And that is a tradition that sannyasi travels even through the jungles. Right? So, of course, nowadays we don't have too many jungles as such. But in the previous times, the sannyasis used to travel through the jungles also. And the sannyasis used to not halt in a place more than 3 days. Why? Because they will have attachment to that particular place. So 3 days you move out. 3 days you move out. You don't stay for more than 3 days. Right? And then he's saying that Sattva Samsiddhir. So Samsiddhir means what? Is purification, purity of consciousness. Whatever rules and regulations are being prescribed. Right? And when I'm saying Sattva Samsiddhir, so Samsiddhir is purification and Sattva is the existence. So purification of one's existence. Why? Because there are so many impurities which are there. And Srila Prabhupada is primarily focusing on impurities like lust. We can free ourselves from lust by avoiding internal and external triggers. Internal triggers means what? Somebody is remembering some lusty thing that he has done in the past, or something that he's seeing in the television, or sometimes he's fantasizing. These are all internal triggers, and some external triggers also. External triggers means what? Something is flashing on the television and you just switch it off or you change the channel. Or something is flashing in your mind. So immediately you change the channel to chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or singing a bhajan or something like that. So that way. And then he's saying Jnana Yoga Vyavastitaha. Cultivation of knowledge. This is also for the sannyasis. This is also for the brahmacharis also and the sannyasis also. And Danam Damascha Yagnascha. So that is put, over here in the Subodhani, they have put it into one category. Danam Damascha Yagnascha. Dan is actually charity, and charity is very important for the householders. Charity is not an activity, it is a mentality which is developed by the cultivation of a habit. See, the idea of charity is not to just give something, but to develop a mentality of giving. Right? Sometimes we are only in taking mode. We don't have that giving mode. So that's why charity. And when we give charity regularly, because that is a habit to be cultivated. It may be small, but it should be a regular habit. And that is why if you see, why has our temples inaugurated or introduced Nitya Seva? Nitya means eternal, and Seva means you keep on doing Seva. So we call it as Nitya Seva, regular donations to the temple every month. Right? So that's called Nitya. Or sometimes you can just consolidate also the whole thing and give it once in a year. Like, that way. So Nitya Seva. When you say Nitya Seva means consistent Seva. And I give some charity. And charity, because charity is an activity and a charitable disposition is also a quality. बहुत दानवीर है ये, है ना? दानवीर karna, that is what we call it. But Krishna is calling charity itself as a divine nature. Charity is their quality. It's a divine nature of those Devi Sampada people, those who are in the mode of goodness. So, charity it will help us to develop a habit of giving. Giving as a mentality. Dena. I see, ISKCON is completely Dena Bank. It's not Lena Bank. हम सिर्फ देते हैं, हम लेते नहीं है. हाँ, अपने आप आ जाता है, that is a very different thing. But it is all Dena Bank. Dena means what? You're giving, giving and giving. You're giving to Krishna, you're giving to Vaishnavas, you're giving, the living entities. You're completely in a giving mode. That is divine. So when people do not develop this habit, thinking that they will give a lump sum in future, will not enable to give, because when they have more, their mind will demand for more things. And a habit of holding money is developed. And that habit will not allow a person to spare money. इसलिए sometimes when you say on a regular basis, when you give, that is like, you have a sense control also. It's saying over here, Danam Damascha Yagnascha. Damas is sense control, and sense control is required for everyone, including even the Grihasthas. In Grihastha life, the purpose of marriage is not sense gratification. It is helping both the partners together to move on towards Krishna. And this, what do you say? Sexuality is just, you can say, a part of human creation. But sexuality is one thing, and sexualization is another thing. Sexualization means what? We reduce everything to, sexual terms only. So marriage relationship should not be reduced to sexualization, right? Marriage means not only, having sex. That is called sexualization. उनको लगता है कि marriage means only, having sex and, begetting children and, expanding the family and all that. Over a period of time, what has happened is, over a period of time, these couples started seeing each other as only, एक दूसरे का शोषण करने के लिए. But when you see these couples or seeing each other not for sense gratification, but as fellow souls, हाँ, तुम भी, इस भौतिक जगत में हो, मैं भी इस भौतिक जगत में हूँ, आओ दोनों साथ में मिलके, एक अपनी आध्यात्मिक यात्रा के लिए निकल पड़े. Move towards spiritual journey. So to develop this type of attitude requires a lot of sense control. Like, for example, in the house, there is fire and butter, both are staying together. Definitely, in the presence of fire, the butter is going to melt. And Prabhupada is giving this example for whom? Fire is women and butter is the men. Seeing the fire, the butter will definitely melt. The man will always melt. But in that also, both the husband and wife, if they have sense control, then, and then they move towards their spiritual path, or, in their spiritual journey, then that is actually self-control. Both are self-controlled, right? And then he's saying that Swadhyaya Stapa Arjavam. See, Swadhyaya is for whom? Swadhyaya is for the brahmacharis. Swadhyaya means Vedic study, right? And this Swadhyaya is for brahmacharis. They have to do study, every day. Because from the brahmachari ashram to the grihastha ashram to the vanaprastha to the sannyas. But the training starts from the brahmachari ashram to the sannyas ashram. So that is why study, knowledge is very much necessary, right? which means that the student life is only meant for studying. So what happens when a student is doing Swadhyay or studying Vedic literature? So by Swadhyay, the student develops a deeper understanding of scriptures. And then even if a brahmachari is entering this grihastha life, he will not be entangled into the material life because they understand what is the purpose of human life. See, brahmachari life is a very good life of, it's like a training phase. You're trained so properly that you don't get entangled even in the grihastha life or the vanaprastha life. So brahmachari life is a training to become very good grihasthas. And that is why if a brahmachari becomes a grihastha, we should not look down upon that particular brahmachari. Oh, he fell down and, from saffron, he came down to white. That type of, thinking should not be there. That is a narrow thinking actually. We should not have that narrow thinking. We should have a broader thinking. A broader thinking is, a broad-mindedness means what? That yes, okay, he took good training in brahmachari ashram, but he was not able to control certain of his senses and he became a grihastha. But he knows what is the, crux of grihastha life and he will eventually, evolve. So these godly qualities are meant to be developed by everyone. And, when they are developing these qualities for certain ashrams, certain things are specifically emphasized and they are specifically required. So what is required from brahmachari ashram? Swadhyay is required. And tapa is also required. So see, tapa is for everyone. But especially tapasya is meant for, tapasya means what? Tapasya of the body, mind and the tongue that we have seen. And when I say tapasya, uh, uh, and when I say tapasya is only for vanaprastha ashram or vanaprasthas, so when a person is living in the grihastha, there are, some very much good comforts of a householder, or he has very good comforts. And when he takes to vanaprastha ashram, at that time there might be some difficulty, but the focus is on accepting austerity. So he can, effectively practice spiritual life. See, without austerity, the senses don't get purified. The purpose of austerity is only to purify the senses. We wake up early in the morning, we do fastings, and we have some do's and don'ts, and that all comes under austerity only. And that is purifying my senses. This all we have seen. Waking up early in the Brahma Muhurat. Recently, I was seeing one post that how Brahma Muhurat may, if somebody is waking up, his whole body it becomes like iron body ban jata hai. Rock solid mountain and he is very less prone to diseases, less prone, especially diseases like cancer, disease like type 2 diabetes, disease like cholesterol, and all these are major, diseases currently where people are facing, right? Or some skin problems or some mental problems. Two things are actually taking a big toll on the medical industry or on the human beings. One is the what do you say? One is cancer and one is the mental imbalance of people. लोग अचानक से पागल होते जा रहे हैं. So that way. And so, how Varna Ashram is implemented in today's age is difficult to say. But we have to understand the principles that we develop qualities so that we can, practice spiritual life. And these are principles. Principle of doing Vedic study, principle of austerity, principle of simplicity, principle of, these are all principles that Krishna is laying down. We say that he is a man of principles. Now, why do we say that he's a man of principles? Because he has most of these qualities present. He's pure in his consciousness, and he's cultivating spiritual knowledge, or he's very simple, he's very austere, and he is truthful, and he has compassion. He's a man of principles, we say. So in today's scenario, brahmacharis also preach. Whereas in traditional system, the brahmacharis were students. They were like, servants, and they used to assist the sannyasis. Of course, those brahmacharis start there, and brahmacharis start at the age of 5, and they may continue till the age of 25. And today, the whole varnashram is such that people at the age of 25 are becoming brahmacharis. So, we can't, of course, replicate that, ideal Vedic system in today's culture. So, the important point is we have to understand the broader social roles and see how to incorporate and integrate those roles in our lives according to time, place, and circumstances, right? And when you say vanaprasthas, vanaprasthas is like in today's time, this vanaprastha ashram has become very extinct. Vanaprasth means kya? When you say 51, in Hindi, 51 is ekka one. One means at the age of 51, you should move towards the jungle. And today, jungles are also not available. And the purpose of going to the jungle is to meet saintly people, so that they also, like, can get some. But uh, sannyasis also are not living in jungles today. So today, most of them are living in temples. So the idea is to take voluntary austerity in the service of Krishna. And we have to see how and when we can increase our focus in spiritual life. And that will vary according to time, place, and circumstance. But the idea is a devotee over a period of time, he will increase his spiritual commitments and his spiritual involvement, and then he will prepare himself for his final examination, which is death. And he will prepare for the ultimate successful life, which is actually returning back home, back to Godhead, going over there and pleasing Krishna. So that is why, Prabhupada also in the purport over here is saying that this entire Varnashram is meant only for tapasya. Without tapasya and austerity, no human being can get liberation. Why? Because actually we are sick people. We have to take some treatment, which is, we might not even like that treatment. So only when you take that treatment, you will become all right. Otherwise, we cannot get out of that sickness of, and what is the sickness that we have? We have this sickness of Kam, Krodh, Mad, Moh, Lobh, Matsya. This is our sickness. So here he is saying Arjavam. Arjavam is actually, he's saying simplicity, being straightforward. Being straightforward means only being truthful. And everyone should be truthful. But especially a Brahmana should be truthful, and he should speak about only the absolute truth. He should not fan his subjects. Okay, आप जो बोलना चाहते मैं वही बोलूंगा. Not that way. So, this is what actually Arjavam means. And then he is saying ahimsa, non-violence. Again, this is the quality of a Brahmana. Because, in the story of Vashishta Muni, when Vashishta didn't fight with Kaushiti or Valmiki, he was taking that Surbhi cow. But sometime for the welfare of all, the Brahmana can take the action, like, in the case of King Vena, the Brahmanas killed Vena by Hunkar, right? So, in that way. And then he's saying Satyam. Again, Satyam also means truthfulness, not lying for personal interest. Means what? One should not distort the truth for some personal interest. ट्रुथ को ढकना नहीं चाहिए, या ट्रुथ को तोड़ मरोड़ना नहीं चाहिए फॉर आर पर्सनल इंटरेस्ट. You not twist and turn the truth for my personal interest that way. Then he's saying akrodha. Even if there is provocation, akrodha means what? Freedom from anger. And even in the even if there is provocation, one should be very tolerant, because if he will become angry, his whole body becomes polluted. When somebody becomes angry, his whole existence becomes polluted, right? So whatever happens in the mind is, it is affecting the body. Like, for example, somebody is, sweating and is shivering face, or his eyes become red in anger, So somebody who's angry from the mind, it is affecting his whole body. He starts sweating and, shivering, and his eyes become completely red that way. So somebody might ask, okay, how to tolerate this anger? So when you remember that there is a higher purpose in life, and these small, small provocations will keep on coming and going. I don't have to become angry. And see, in Krishna book also, what Prabhupada says, that one's greatness has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate provoking situations. So when there is a reason to be angry, but one stays calm, then that is calmness. That is akrodham. That way. And then he's saying that apashunam. Apashunam means, aversion to fault finding. Right? Over here, he's saying aversion to fault finding. So, see, gossip means what? That we talk about the fault of others. Iski ninda, uski chugli karna. And devotees delight in the glories of Krishna and glories of other devotees also. But a gossiper, he delights in the faults of others. So this is very, distasteful for the cultured person, right? So for us, we should be glorifying the Supreme Lord. We should be delighting in glorifying Krishna and glorifying devotees. So actually only time we can talk about the fault of others. Only when we don't enjoy doing so. So certainly when we are finding faults with devotees and we are offensive, then even with other people we start doing those. And that is why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling, or he says that criticizing general living entities unnecessarily also is not good. Right? Even general living, those who are yet to become devotees, that is also not good. Because the characteristic of an advanced devotee, what Srila Rupa Goswami also says is that Nindadi Shunya Hridayam. So that doesn't have inclination to criticize anyone, because a devotee sees everyone's spiritual potential and wants everyone's spiritual potential to be developed. That is why he does not criticize people. Like Srila Prabhupada saw spiritual potential in others, and he fanned those spiritual potentials, and he neglected whatever conditioning they may have, and that is the compassion of Srila Prabhupada, right? So, Apaishinam. And then he's saying Daya Bhuteshwar, or he's saying modesty also over here. I don't know if you say modesty, ना जिसके पास दया है उसके पास modesty भी होगी. So one should not act in a way which is undesirable, or which is not appropriate. For example, bhari sabha mein, somebody is blaspheming somebody very royally. So that is not an appropriate behavior. Or somebody is angry, and just shouts. That is also inappropriate. And then he's saying that achapalam. Achapalam means what? Steady determination and not agitated even in failure. He is a determined person, right? So he's saying that a determination, for what determination is required over here? Uh, Determination means I should not become restless, and I should become focused and stay determined. Jaise, for example, you are on the path of spiritual, journey. है ना? And all of a sudden, somebody's business just goes down. So what happens is somebody's business goes down, he becomes very restless. कि अरे मेरा बहुत नुकसान हो गया. No, I'm in a great loss. And in that time, he does not remain focused with his sadhana bhakti. He stops chanting, he stops coming to the temple, and he goes away from the association of devotees. So then he is not determined. He wasn't focused. He does not stay focused. He does not stay determined. So in reversals also, if I become restless, I'm not focused and I'm not determined at all. But averse to that, if somebody is determined, whether my business works, does not work, at least, my spiritual life should keep on working and I will go on and on and on and on and on. Whether I have a job, I don't have a job, whether I have money, I don't have money, whether, my children are doing good, not doing good, right? So, in that way. So he remains very much steady in those situations also. So that is actually Achapalam. And then he's saying Teja, vigor. And vigor or strength or effulgence also, And vigor, I said that is required for a Kshatriya. Because whatever may be required for the service of the Lord, then they should do that. And then Saucham is cleanliness, internal cleanliness, external cleanliness, right? And Adroha, he's saying. Adroha means freedom from envy, right? So freedom from envy means what? Sometimes we envy people. Oh, he has more wealth than me. He's more power than me. I should not become envious. I should understand that this is the best way which I can be purified in any varna or ashram. I have got less money because of my own bad karmas. He has got money because of his good karmas, right? So if we understand this, that Krishna has given me what is really necessary for me, and that much only he has given me so that I can move ahead in Krishna consciousness, Because see, if you see, ultimately this world is like a hospital and the goal is to be cured. But if I keep on envying, I envied Krishna over there and I envy people over here, where will I go? So if the doctor is giving me one medicine and the other medicine I cannot ask why, right? The medicine is medicine. And with that medicine, I have to, this. So the medicine for me is something different. The medicine for that other person is different. So I don't have to envy कि अरे मुझे ये पिंक मेडिसिन क्यों दिया, मुझे इतनी छोटी मेडिसिन क्यों दी, उसको बड़ी मेडिसिन क्यों दिया. The different ways Krishna, handles different living entities. So we cannot compare, we cannot grudge, we cannot complain, all these. And ultimately, what he's saying over here is Nati Manitaha, from the passion for honor, respecting. Hai na? Na means not over here, and Ati Manitaha. Hai na? Ati Manita means what? Expectation of honor. Everybody, has to honor me. भाई सबने मुझे दंडवत प्रणाम करना चाहिए, मेरी वाह वाह करनी चाहिए, मेरे गुणगान गाने चाहिए. So one does not demand respect. In spiritual life, one can accept respect, but one does not expect respect. Accept and expect. These are two different things. I can accept respect. Somebody is, bowing down to me. Dandot pranam. So I expect, okay, he's bowing down to me because he's thinking that, okay, there is the Paramatma sitting in my heart and he's bowing down to the Paramatma sitting in my heart. Okay, I accept it. But I'm expecting, how dare he does not do me Dandot pranam? Why he's not doing me Dandot pranam? Why, who are you? So that, that is why, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Amanina mana dena kirtaniya sada hari. So this praise should deflate the mind and not inflate the ego. And by understanding that, because, when you understand that, I'm an unworthy person and you understand that I'm just a tool in the hand of Krishna, then, we'll be more calm. And that is why these all three shlokas are speaking about how do we cultivate these qualities according to our own varna and ashrama. In that sense, right? Okay. Let's see the next shloka. Prabhupada has given elaborate, explanation for every word over here. Now we'll start Asura Sampada, demonic qualities. From the fourth shloka up till the, can say, till the eighth shloka, we'll be having these Asura Sampadas only. So, or the Asura qualities, you can say. So, what does he say? Dambo darpo abhimanascha krodha parushyam evacha ajnanam cha abhijatasya partha sampada asurim. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demonic nature, O son of Pratha. So when he is saying that Sampadam Asurim, so this demonic quality, the quality that comprise of demonic nature. And what are these qualities? These are Dambo, Darpo, Abhimanascha. Damba means what? Dambo means when does not have good quality. Or still one wants to, take pride that one has good qualities. And one wants credit for that. उसके पास अच्छी qualities नहीं है. लेकिन उसको लगता है कि बस मेरे पास बहुत अच्छी अच्छी क्वालिटीज है, आई हैव वेरी गुड क्वालिटीज, एंड देन ही टेक्स क्रेडिट फॉर व्हाट he does not have. And Darpo is saying that, Dambho is actually making a show off also, right? Of religion. Even if somebody is very sinful, he thinks that, okay, just by, we have many politicians like that, they make a lot of damba. They are actually, they actually don't believe, on certain gods or certain people or something, but they'll go down and then they'll bow down and, they will, put their head down and all. This is, that way, to make a show off of religion. Even if somebody is very sinful, he tries to be very religious. And recently we have seen in many of the past elections, we have seen how people because of this only have just gone astray. Darpa means uh, again, somebody takes pride in one's wealth and education, or one may have good qualities but one wants to parade those good qualities, you know तो उसका परेड मतलब क्या, उसको शो ऑफ करना. एंड अभिमानश्च, when one wants man and samman. Abhiman over here has been said as conceit, and conceit means what? He wants to be worshipped by others. He has a desire to be worshipped by others, like that way. So or you can say अपनी स्तुति करवाना. स्तुति means praise, and man means we feel very honored. So there is a correlation, but the focus is completely different in that. In abhiman na, abhiman में क्या है कि where one is hungry for man, and without man that person cannot live only. In the past, no, kings would have those bards whose job was to only glorify the king. आप बड़े महान हो, आप ऐसे हो, आप वैसे हो, that way. And of course, when the king is a devotee, his glory is connected to the glory of Krishna. So that's what that way. And then he's saying krodha parushyam eva chaha. So when he's saying krodha is anger, and parushya is anger which is expressed through the speech, right? Somebody is very harsh, somebody is very insensitive, he's very he's very insensitive, and he's hurting with his sarcastic speech. That is parushyam, right? Rough language in front of others, right? And putting down somebody else, like that way. And then he's saying that uh, uh, so when he's saying over here, if you see in the previous shloka also, he said that mardavam, right? Mardavam harer achapalam. So mardavam means very gentle person, towards all living entities. So the quality of the characteristic of a godly person is he is sensitive, gentle in his speech. He's gentle towards all living. So, sometimes using foul word, is so much common. I have seen when I was very small, the place where my grandmother used to live, uh, uh, 2, 3 shopkeepers, they used to use a lot of foul language. Every word, they'll start only with a foul word, right? And sometimes people think that if they use more nasty words, that is very cool. Actually, that is not cool. That is a sign of a fool, actually. So the way we speak that is the way we think also. And that is the way our whole culture gets shaped and affected. So when I'm saying parushyam eva chaha, that is harshness. Harsh speech is the characteristic of a person whose ajnanam cha abhijatasya. Ajnanam means one who is in the mode of ignorance, right? See, when somebody is situated in Jnana Yoga Vyavastitah, when somebody is situated in knowledge and Swadhyay, you know, it has qualities or has godly qualities. So they either have knowledge or they are cultivating knowledge through studies, right? But Ajnanam, ungodly, the demonic, if they have any gyan, that is material knowledge, that's not spiritual knowledge. And they actually completely neglect spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge also, and they neglect spiritual life also. And in that way, they stay in ajnanam or darkness of spiritual life. And this is actually the misfortune of such people. So that is why Prabhupada writes that the royal road to hell is, the royal road to hell is described. So why royal road? Because the demonic goes proudly on this road. That means that they are proud of being harsh and arrogant. Dambo and Darbo. They are very proud. मैं जो हूँ arrogant हूँ, मैं बहुत pride में हूँ and all. And in the past you have seen many people with such qualities, and these qualities are really not appreciated as such. So that's what is saying over here. Dambo darpah abhiman. And okay, I'll just halt over here. Why? Because now there will be the destiny of such people. We have understood which are Devi Sampada people or Asur Sampada people. Now we have understood. But what will be their destinations? That we will have to see. Okay, anybody has any questions, queries, doubts? You can ask me. Any clarification needed? Okay, fine. So we stop for the day over here if nobody has any queries, doubts, as such. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.